Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the Mattel Jurassic World Legacy Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex pack. The Legacy Collection in the US is a Target exclusive. This set retails for $29.99. Started hitting store shelves just after Christmas. I found mine a couple weeks ago, and lately the Targets around me have started restocking it. So if you're still looking for one, they should be getting easier to find. It has its own dedicated shelf spot, so just keep looking. You'll get lucky, you'll find one. Both these figures are repaints of previous figures in the line. The green T-Rex is a repaint of the Legacy Collection brown Rex, and the baby is a slight repaint of the single release. Obviously I took mine out of the packaging already. I didn't plan on doing a review for dinosaurs back then when I got it, so if you want to see what it looks like in the packaging, I'll provide a photo right here for you. Moving on with the review, we're going to start with the baby T-Rex. If you already own the single pack Legacy Collection baby Rex, you're going to notice some paint differences right off the bat. The back pattern on this one is more of a darker green, where on the single pack release it's more of a teal blue. And on this one, the tail isn't painted. On the other one it is. Also, they seem to have skimped on painting the mouth. Just the tongue is painted. Roof of the mouth is green. Bottom of the mouth is green. The mouth is painted on the single pack release. Even the gum area right here is painted on the single pack release. So they definitely skimped on some of the paint apps on this one. Articulation wise, pull down the tail to activate its action feature. It's a little chomp in action. The arms have a ball joint, so you can move them up and down, swing them out to the side. Have a little flying T-Rex pose. Oh, there's the scan bar if you guys need it. The legs do pivot out, and the legs can move forward like one click. Moving them back just a tiny bit, that's it. There's a resistance right there. So that's probably the extent of the poses you can get this guy in. Not much for articulation. This figure is probably my least favorite of any of the stuff I picked up from the Jurassic World line so far, but I didn't pick up the pack to get the baby. I picked it up to get the bull. Moving on to the adult T-Rex. On Mattel's website, they have this listed as the female T-Rex. Obviously, these are the colors of the male T-Rex from the Lost World, so I'm considering this one my male T-Rex for my collection. Mattel probably has more T-Rexes planned, so we'll probably get more color variations, because T-Rex is the bread and butter of any dinosaur line. So we're probably going to have a lot more T-Rexes coming out in the future. The Legacy Collection mold is my favorite sculpt of all the T-Rexes in the line so far. I like the bite and fight, I like the thrash and throw, but the only issues I have with them is that their heads are too big. On the Legacy mold, the head is much more proportionate to the rest of the body. It just makes the figure look all around better in my opinion. One thing Mattel did incredibly is that they absolutely nailed the look of the Jurassic Park style T-Rex head. I mean, just look at that head. And they even gave it its binocular vision. Now this figure does have an action feature. By depressing the button in the back of the neck, you activate its extreme chomping action. Now, like the old release of the Legacy Collection Brown Rex, the tongue stuck out kind of like a maniac. On this one, it's much more flush to the bottom of the jaw. It looks better when you're activating this feature. It just doesn't look like a screaming maniac when you push the button. Articulation wise, this guy's head can rotate to the right and the left. can look up, you can look down. The arms can rotate forward and backwards. On the bite and fight, they actually added a ball joint to this, so you can actually swing the arms into different positions, which I kind of wish this one had. It's not a big deal, but I would have liked to see that. The legs have locking points. As you rotate the leg, you can feel it clicking into place, so you can get different poses with it. They're also on a pivot. There's a scan code if you need it. Now the feet on all the T-Rexes are very oversized. Obviously it's for stability. I mean, they don't look too bad. I mean, sometimes they're a little bit distracting to me, but I'm not going to complain. It's a kid's toy. The feet do pivot. Now if you look closely on mine, the seam right here splits a little bit when I'm turning the feet. You can see it just moved just a little bit. I hope it doesn't become an issue later on where the feet get loose and fall out, but they're not as tight as they are on my thrash and throw. But not a big deal. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. See? Very loose on this one. Tail is on a ball joint. This comes separate in the package. You just, when you take it out of the box, you just jam it in there. It's a one-time assembly. So once it's in, it ain't coming out. Get some good rotation with it. This is definitely the most posable Rex so far in the line. You can get a lot of good movement with the joints. Wish there was a way to lock the mouth into place. I would have liked to sometimes have my Rex screaming all night long, but probably just wedge a piece of paper in there, keep it open like that if you wanted to. So let's move on to some size comparisons with other figures in the line and see how this guy is. Alright, here it is compared to the Bite and Fight T-Rex. Bite and Fight is obviously a bigger figure. It's the same size as the Thrash and Throw T-Rex. The green T-Rex is about 19 inches long. This one's about 22 and a half inches long. And this is what I was talking about earlier. On the Bite and Fight, you have a ball jointed arm, which I really would like to see on this one, but like I said, it's not a big deal. Just like to see this incorporated more on the later T-Rex releases. And here it is compared to the Dual Attack Concavinator and the Battle Damage Blue. One thing I like that Mattel did with this line, they're trying to keep all the dinosaurs in scale, which I think is great. I remember when I was collecting the Lost World line by Kenner, one of my favorite figures from that line was the electronic Velociraptor. The only thing with that raptor was, it was absolutely gigantic compared to most figures in the line. It was just, you had a raptor that was like 3/4 the size of like the Rex in the line. If you were playing with them, setting them up for displays, they just weren't in the scale of each other. But I just really like that they're keeping everything in scale for the most part. Just makes the figures look much better on the shelf. And finally, here it is compared with the Legacy Collection Spinosaurus. They scale absolutely perfectly together if you're trying to recreate the scene from Jurassic Park 3. The Legacy mold is the smaller mold of the T-Rexes, and this one just fits perfectly with the size of the Spino. The Spino is taller than this Rex, and it's slightly longer, so it's a perfect fit. You can get a lot of cool poses with these two together. Recreate that fight scene that pissed off probably 3/4 of the fan base. And you also have the toy that pissed off a majority of the collector community for how hard this thing was to get. But that's a story from a different day. So in closing, this is my favorite T-Rex from Mattel so far. I love the color, the sculpt, the posability. If you pick this set up, you won't be disappointed. I highly recommend it. So thank you for checking out my review. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you for the next review.